'Cause I'm excited because people are going to be watching me and probably like splooging just to this podcast. I don't necessarily want to have sex with a celebrity. I want to have sex with a character that a celebrity would play.
Nice.
Like,
okay.
Deadpool is like my number one. Like, I cover a lot as Cory Chase. I'm submissive, I'm dominant, I'm nurturing, I'm like distance, the whole like free use and like ignoring fetish. Like I've done it all. So like Cory Chase is huge.
Hey, I'm Casey Calvert.
I'm Leanna Lovings.
I'm Cory Chase.
Hi, I'm Lauren Phillips.
Hi, I'm Bree Mills, and you're listening to the Adult Time Podcast. Cory Chase.
Hi.
Hi. This is really cool.
Cory Chase and Bree Mills.
That's
in
right.
In the same room.
In the same room, meeting for the first time face to face. Although our brands have crossed paths in many ways and worked together in many ways.
Yes.
This is the ultimate way to meet. I'm super stoked. Tell me, because I am fascinated by, obviously you've got really one of the biggest brands, especially like creator-led brands in porn.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Give me the Cory Chase origin story.
Okay, the origin story for Cory Chase kind of came out of I was, at the time boyfriend, now husband, wanted to videotape our little experiences. And I found out that I got turned on by that aspect of him videotaping it and then watching it later on. So we continued that aspect of our like sex life and everything. And then internet happened. So that says how long ago this was. And we started just posting pictures, like those hot girlfriend experience, like websites where it was just photos, and it just snowballs from there. And as a content creator, I've always been a content creator from the very beginning. I never really went out and just shot for other companies. It was always self-production between me and my husband. And then I decided maybe I should branch out, start working with other companies and other production companies. And here we are today. So there's a soft opening. Like I have scenes that are out on the internet that we shot, like the home sex scenes, back in like 2001. And then we started doing it as like a side job, hustle, if you will, in like 2003. And then in like 2006, 7 is when like videos started really hitting the internet. And that's when we kind of did more of a it was still side hustle. Both of us still had full-time jobs. And then in 2009 was a solid, like we're leaving our jobs and we're doing porn full time.
Okay, I have a lot of questions already. Okay. So you said that when you and your now husband, then boyfriend, began to experiment with, taping yourselves, and that you found that was a turn on.
Yes.
What do you think? What about it turned you on?
The fact that he found it so captivating that he wanted to record it, and then knowing that he could look back on it and enjoy himself when I wasn't there present. We kind of had a mildly long distance relationship at the time. So like that was that turn on.
Like the ultimate pleasure kink, right?
Yeah.
And do you think, like, when you kind of look back prior to that light bulb going off, did you have kind of like, were there hints of exhibitionism, pleasure kink? So it goes back a long way.
Oh yeah, and we were swingers for a while, and I guess technically, we still are. But and then the internet starts happening, and there's always been bad comments to photos and videos that you post. But for some reason, it's never really affected me in a way, because being in the military and everything, like you're always being yelled at for something. Like they're always going to find something wrong. So it like maybe that helped kind of like focus me and like understand that not everyone's going to enjoy everything. And the good comments is what drove me into like it was even more of a turn on, because now almost the entire world has been like watching me.
Yeah, like the satisfaction of knowing that people are enjoying it. And talk about like right place at right time, right? So about 2006 to 2009 was when, I mean, that was when I got into the industry as well. And I remember that was right when tube sites like, Pornhub and YouPorn and stuff started. So you were really able to take those videos and get them out to an audience that you never could have before.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't particularly asking for my videos to be posted on some of those tube sites back then, but of course, fast forward, it worked out in the end.
It did, yeah. We've all had our reckoning with that in a sense. But was your husband because there's obviously like the kink of like home sex videos, but then there's the professional venture of production. Was that something that you both discovered along the way you enjoyed, or was that part of your story beforehand where like there was a little bit of experience using the camera?
He was more experienced at using the camera. I think production-wise, that's more him. And I like to say that Cory Chase isn't just me. I am the face of Cory Chase, but Cory Chase definitely implies myself and my husband, Luke Longley. Like there would be no Cory Chase had the two of us not meet. Yeah. And we kind of brought each other into this industry together.
Some of the most sort of successful performers and creators that I know have a similar journey where like there's a name, there's a face, there's a persona, but there's like a real team or like a strong duo behind it. And some of my favorite people to work with are those people because it's really this mutual passion. So speak a little bit about that passion that you two were able to develop, and how did that end up becoming the brand that we know today? Not just Cory Chase, but of course with Taboo Heat and what you've been able to put out to the world.
It was a very long process. We kind of have done a little bit of everything. We started out originally doing like bondage, damsels in distress, where I was just bound, gagged, and like straitjacket, and I'm just like wiggling out of things, maybe some like forced orgasms. And for me to stop the experience, I have to get out of my bondage. So we started with that, and we kind of always listened to our fans. The fans would constantly give us feedback on the videos, and then they started suggesting like things to shoot, because we always want the feedback of the people who are actually viewing the videos. And they start sprinkling in some cosplay. We did some like play fights where we would shoot each other with laser beams, and I learned a lot of special effects, and we used to shoot each other in bikinis, and then the bikini pieces would fall off. God, I've even done diaper things. And then one of my fans actually asked me to do a video with Christy Mack. I was her stepmom, and back then I'm not sure why I was her stepmom. I would assume my husband was the father, but that wasn't really the biggest deal. Wanted me to do a scene with Christy Mack as stepmom, and we did a boy, girl with her, and they just fell in love with it. And ever since then, I was like 26 at the time.
Age ain't nothing but a number, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could be a stepmom at 26 because you marry in. It's a trophy wife situation. Ever since then, that's when it kind of took off. And that was like the 2006 era.
I'm nervous.
What the fuck are you nervous about?
I mean, we haven't seen each other since we all went off to college to begin with. What if they don't even like me anymore?
Spin around. Are you trying to impress someone?
You look great.
Hi.
This is my girlfriend. I hope you don't mind if she crashes your party.
We're gonna relive high school. Let's relive high school.
Oh my god. I think we're one sleeping bag short.
She'll be fine.
Will she though?
It's because you did everything you could to make her feel excluded.
So did you.
Okay, but the difference is I'm gonna make it up to her.
So I'm leaving because you don't want Morgan thinking I'm your girlfriend?
I just don't want to confuse them.
I don't want them thinking I'm your girlfriend either. Look at you. You came back from college hot.
What was the instinct behind it? It seems so simple, but I had a very similar kind of early experience producing where, because I knew nothing about porn production, but I came from a marketing background. I just, with the first projects that I was managing, I just was like, all right, let's set up a forum and let's just start talking to the audience because that's marketing 101.
Yeah.
But that obviously was a big part of the brands and stuff that I built. And it was so important. What kind of was that just natural that you just fed off of the feedback of your fans and that you were like willing to like pick those like nuggets of ideas out of them?
Sure. I would assume so, but it's like trends. Had we stuck with the bondage and some of the other niches that we had done, I wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have Taboo Heat. And honestly, you probably wouldn't even know Cory Chase. Had I not listened to the viewers and followed trends and not pigeonhole myself into something. Because in all actuality, if you want to get down and dirty about it, like my so-called kink fetish, what like really turns me on is like underwater sex, like the breath hold play and things like that. And I mean, it's great, but it's just not the big thing. And honestly, like everything turns me on. Just being watched and videotaped is like a turn on for me. Like even my, because I'm excited because people are going to be watching me and probably like splooging just to this podcast.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I've even dealt with some of that where just because I'm Cory Chase makes it very hard to do anything truly mainstream because then because I sell sex for a living, that means I'm always selling sex.
Yeah. Well, the stepmom kind of route that obviously is a very popular niche. What are some of your favorite aspects? Because it also gets trashed a lot, right? Like it's the most popular thing. It's one of the most popular search keywords, on our platform. I get it that everybody's done every step dynamic, so there's fatigue.
Yes,
maybe in the shooting side of it. But what are your favorite elements of that role play? Because it's a super fun role to play.
Yeah. I mean, I get the fetish, I get the kink of it. Like it's a nurturing kind of upbringing, and most of the time, your first crushes are somebody who you're very close to. It's not necessarily a sexual, but those more deeper feelings always come from somebody who's very close, a mother, grandparents, uncles, somebody who's in your life a lot. So I get why the whole step is so big, because that there's not going to be any judgment from the other party. You could kind of be very vulnerable with them and not feel like it's going to be out there in the world, especially with how the internet is today. I mean, everybody's feelings and thoughts are out on the internet and they're getting bombarded by comments and replies. So that close, like knit and being comforted and pleasured both at the same time kind of brings it all together.
Is there a favorite type of stepmom that you like to play? Like, do you like the more domineering, the more nurturing?
I kind of like them all. So I don't know. Because I like the different aspects of each. The dominant, I love when the fans tell me to punish me with sex. And I'm like, how is that punishment? Really? Really, how is that punishment? Because you're asking for it.
Yes, yeah.
So how is it punishment? And then the nurturing, caring, like teaching, and I love that aspect because then I hope that I'm maybe possibly helping them in their real life situations on how to be better in the bedroom, pleasuring their partner. And so, I mean, I love it all. I love it all.
So you are one of the biggest content creators out there. And like you said, you've been at it before content creator was even a phrase.
Oh, yes.
And so what made you sort of start to work with other companies, other brands, other than your own?
I think just because it was so long ago, it's like hard to say. An agency company came to me and said that so-and-so would like to hire you for your look. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm always willing to try something at least once. And I think that's why my longevity in this industry has been the way it has, because I am willing to at least try it once. There's probably my entire sex life would be completely different if I was not in porn, because I would be very vanilla. God, I don't even know. Like, there's so many things that this industry has taught me that had I not been in, like, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be into anal sex and things like that. And now I love it. So I lost my train of thought.
Well, I was just going to say the cool thing about discovering your sexuality through the work is because most people in civilian life probably don't have, people hitting you up all the time saying, here is this proposal for a sexual experience.
Yes,
Would you like to partake in it or not? Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool that you get offers coming in on different things you can try or do again a different way. And you get to kind of pick and choose that evolution and that experience.
Yeah. And that was part of it. And then we also wanted to get a little insight on how other people shoot the content. And I always pick little things from other production companies. I'm like, oh, that's nifty. Or I see something happen on set and I'm like, ooh, that was kind of cringe. And then this is how I'm going to not be that way when I shoot. So
okay, I need to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the biggest lessons, both like the nifty and the cringe that
time management. Time management. I don't know how many times I've been on set and I'm just sitting there and twiddling my thumbs and I'm like, this could be better. This could be a lot better.
So how do you, Cory Chase, how do you run your production days? How do you set your schedule?
So girl talent shows up on set. We usually have paperwork already printed out or already emailed. We collect IDs, kind of chit-chatting as I'm like pre-filling out some of their paperwork to make sure that everything is filled out properly.
Yes, that's also probably a lesson. Yeah.
Yes. I've learned a lot through paperwork. And then we kind of do our sign-ins and everything. And then we have, just like you guys, you have a shoot list that you would like to hit that has already been sent out to the models. And we just go at it. We chit chat a little bit here and there, but we kind of are very upfront with them. Like, we can get to know each other, but once we're done, we're cut, then we can do more of the
like we're here to do, we have a job, we have a schedule.
The work is work. And then once we're done, If they want to come to dinner with us, we'll take them to dinner. And that's when we get to like really get to know them.
Yeah. And so time management.
Yeah, time management.
100%.
Yeah.
And I bet now, having done this so long, I know one of the things for me is I can look at a script and I can be like, how long is that going to take? And how many hours do I realistically want to be? And you can see the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the other like nifty things that you've learned that you've brought back into your
I've
productions?
learned a lot of like life hacks. A lot of models have taught me a lot of things, like how they keep their lingerie together. Like I had one model show me she ties her bathing suit bottom to her bathing suit top. I'm like, that is genius. So you literally go in your drawer and you pull the bikini out and it's attached.
Yep.
So now my bras and panties are that way. Lighting tricks, of course, are amazing. I didn't realize that a lot of film was done with lights that are actually coming out from outside through a window. I always thought that was just the sun, natural sunlight that was coming through.
Shout out to the lighting guys.
Yes. Yeah, just a lot of like nifty little things, and just like learning how to use the equipment in a more like conservative way, to where you're not like moving all around, you're not bumping into mics and all kinds of things.
Yeah, you're not planning 15 setups in a day. Yeah.
Like we already have this mental picture of how we want the scene shot. So, and then us also being the videographers, the producers, the models, and mild editors. Currently, we have editors that help us out. Very thankful for them. But we already know the shots that we want to get and kind of have storyboarded in our head, so it's quicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I've just never done anything like this before. I've been wanting it for so long, and I know it's gonna be amazing in there. So just remember, whatever happens, I'm with you. I'm ready. This is so cool. Oh my God.
I know that you were featured, you did a mainstream gig for the show Billions, right? With Raven S, and it was Lisa Ann. Shout out Lisa Ann. How would you compare the experience that you had working on a mainstream production set compared to working in the adult
It's all
space?
the same. It is honestly all the same. There's paperwork. And the paperwork gets wrong, which I had to deal with that. Like it was a lot. And we were shooting in a very tight situation. So I'm pretty sure that what they wanted to get probably could have been shot a lot quicker had they been able to run cameras from both angles. But they had to tear cameras down and then kind of readjust the hotel room and then switch it around. That 15-second scene, start to finish, with hair and makeup and wardrobe and shooting, was a total of 4 hours. And there was a lot of content that they shot, a lot of coverage that they didn't even use.
That's probably, talking about like life lessons in production.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I first started to direct, it was this panic of like, you have to cover every possible angle just in case, just so your editor has enough to work with. And then you realize after the fact, like, you don't need 80% of that.
Yeah.
And it's such a waste of time. And it makes the editor's job more difficult because there's no vision. So now what I do is I like, you have a pretty clear idea in mind of what the sequence looks like, but I always map out the first shot, the transition in, and the transition out to the next sequence, so that once you have those two bookends, it's pretty easy to fill in the middle, right? You don't need to shoot everything. So I definitely learned that. Like, there were years I overshot.
But I do know that, like, even with Billions, you have this series, and the story is chronologically taking place. There's not necessarily a start and stop point in each episode. So I'm sure that there was a lot of extra coverage that they were shooting because they didn't quite know where the angles are. And when they're dealing with topics that are like a little more current, that could also be why we had so much extra.
That is true.
Extra stuff that they were doing. And it's very hard. We've kind of dived into our Multi-MILFverse is a little bit of a multiple progression series where each episode is kind of chronologically going along, and we have to kind of already pre-plan out all the episodes so we know, like, all right, we're going to mention from what happened in, let's say, volume 1 is also brought back up into volume 4. So.
Do you find your fans love that? Like, love the recurring characters, the connected plots?
I don't know.
Oh, so this is going to be
really like. It's out. It's been out, and we actually kind of like brought it back a little bit, and I don't know if they enjoy the fact. Like, we've shot some more cinematographic than we normally do, and the feedback, like the feedback is in the people viewing it isn't as strong as something that we just kind of put together.
Do you think that's because there's a feeling of, like, it's more like a quote unquote realism behind something that just, hasn't been quite as choreographed?
Yeah, maybe the amateur aspect of it, because amateur is so heavy right now.
Yeah.
Like, the more amateur it looks, sometimes the better they like it. And then something that is very staged, but reality is still very, there's a fine line of mixing those two.
Yeah. Well, it's like, to sell the ads, right? That those are very, it's like in two ends of the spectrum. There's like the hyper choreographed, staged, fake, over the top.
Yes.
And then there's
but all my porn's kind of over the top.
So what I mean, I know you mentioned like you've started with this sort of multi-part concept. If you could do if budget was no question.
Oh God.
What would be your dream project?
Money was no object. Doing the cartoon version of this Multi-MILFverse would be amazing. And we tried, but it took 6 months to get a 10-second little intro, little trailer tease of it. And I'm like, and a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. So if money was no object, it would be maybe even turning some of my older features into like cartoons. So that way cartoons or even anime where it could honestly live on forever. So Cory Chase, as I am today, sitting here with Bree, could live on forever.
Have you experimented at all? I know it's a hot topic, but have you experimented at all with AI generation?
A little bit. It hasn't quite got me down.
Yeah.
I'm unique. I'm very natural, and and then it also has a hard time. Like, when you tell AI who is Cory Chase, it gets so confused and conflicted. It wants to answer you, but then it says, "Oh, I can't answer you."
Right? Yeah.
Time.
It knows that it cannot answer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're also still with the technology, with the image generation and video generation. It's like progressing at lightning speed, but the images are still weird.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'd get weird Cory Chase,
kind
right?
of weird morphic, things are moving in odd positions.
You have a breast here.
Yes. Yeah.
But maybe in the subject of budget, as that technology advances, and especially as the creator, you're able to generate your own version.
And to make a younger version of Cory Chase and doing the stepdaughter stuff, because I never really dove into that. I kind of jumped into this as the hot girlfriend next door and the MILF, and to be able to do a prequel would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I see I've been using it a lot as well, just to sort of educate myself on it. But I think with the right the right guardrails, and especially if you as the owner of the IP
Yes.
are using, there's a lot of really cool things that will be. So that I see a Cory Chase cartoon in the future. And I hope that it is created by Cory Chase.
I hope so too.
And we would love to have it on Adult Time at that point as part of your channel. So, within the kind of growth of your brand, obviously, as we were talking about at the top of our convo, getting onto tube sites in the early years, now we recognize it's a huge opportunity to expose your brand. I know you also have a channel on Adult Time, and it is a very popular channel with us. So how do you like to use, because you've got your brand, you have your website, how do you like to use other platforms to help really kind of get the word out about you?
So when we first started, we're coming in the time where it was DVDs, VHS tapes, and then internet started happening, but we kept that mindset of how people consumed porn. And it was a lot of guys that were very dedicated to a model. So they would find me as Cory Chase and then want to go to a website with just me. So we assumed that we would just throw our stuff on one place and the fans would come to us. We've learned that now viewers, they have girls that they like, but they're also very particular about where they're consuming their porn. Now it's kind of, the stuff is just tossed everywhere. We've used the tube sites, our own membership site, the clip stores, it goes almost everywhere, almost at the same time. There's some exclusiveness to Taboo Heat. You do get that there first. But we've learned that to get the eyeballs and to get the viewers' attention, you have to spread it out all over the place. Those eggs have to be dropped in everyone's basket.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's almost like people's streaming site preference, right? You usually have a couple, but you don't have all.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to where you watch your content. Yeah. It's very, very true. When you look ahead to the next 5 years of Taboo Heat, what do you see? Anything on the horizon you can tease out?
Just the continuation of the whole the BBC championships, the whole basketball team that we're employing. And
okay, hold on.
Okay.
There's a whole basketball team that you're
Yes,
employing? Tell me about this.
So we are doing this series with a basketball team. It's college. We just opened up a classroom set. So we have a classroom. We're doing some of the college team stuff. We're diving into the teachers, doing the naughty stuff with the students, and then also bringing in the taboo and the step family relationships. So you've got parent-teacher conferences. It just has opened up a whole new universe, if you will.
Taboo Heat University.
Taboo Heat University universe that we're just very excited about, and mixing a lot of different genres and just pleasure products out there.
Well, that's amazing. With this whole universe you're creating, do you get to play different characters within it, or you have a singular character and then you're surrounded by a bunch of different actors you bring in?
Cory Chase is very broad. I cover a lot as Cory Chase. I'm submissive, I'm dominant, I'm nurturing, I'm distance, the whole free use and ignoring fetish. I've done it all. So Cory Chase is huge. So
she can take on it. She can take on any. She's like a mimic.
Yeah. And I feed off of people that are in a room, and if we're getting that vibe, and I will switch on a dime, but then I will also start picking up people's accents. quickly.
So you're like you could be a global version of Cory Chase.
I'm like a chameleon. Yeah. Cory Chase chameleon.
So you mentioned that you've learned a lot from other models. What advice would you give to newer models getting into sex work, especially in that unique position you have as sort of like a pioneering content creator and someone who shoots pro scenes?
Okay. So new models, know yourself, know when you're wrong, and learn from those experiences. Watch everything, like absorb everything that's coming in at you. Pay attention, be focused. I don't know, be on time.
Time management.
Time management. I mean, if anything, that is one thing the military, like being in the Army and the National Guard, like taught me. Like, I don't know how many times I had shown up for formation on time, which is 15 minutes early, and then we stand around for 2 hours. So it's like, I hated that about the military. And then I also hate that when I'm on set. So if I'm waiting on you, most likely I'm going to cancel on you.
Good to know. How do you guys approach consent practices within your productions?
So we kind of go over do's and don'ts before we start shooting, show each other our tests, just kind of talk to them like, are you feeling, what are you feeling today? Do you not want to do anything? Do you want to do anything? It's not very structured currently, but I feel like the models are getting what they want out of it when they're on set. We are in a weird time with the whole consent. Like, is it going to be something that is going to be like not broadcasted, but referenced and filed? But I think we deal with it pretty well. Well, and just talking and having conversations with people. We do like to communicate with the models before we start shooting. And we do go through the talking points and the acting parts before we start any new scene. Like, this is what we want to cover. And then if anything is wrong with that, just let us know.
And that's kind of the heart of it, right? You know, like whether it's like sitting down and just chatting or taking a more structured approach, the most important thing is like that the conversations are being had, right? And that like environment is being created.
And then allowing the model to have the ability to cut when they need to.
Yes. Yeah. I wish that, you know, that there was a way to that, because, you know, it's such an important part of the work we do. I wish there was a way to better amplify that out without it coming off unnecessarily like a PSA or a judgment, right? Because there's so much judgment that exists today with everybody being able to put in their 2 cents. But I think like just being able to like create that environment, even for word of mouth, right? If someone who leaves your set and then will go and talk about, hey, you know, like, I had this, you know, anecdote that I took from this set, or, you know, we had this, just creating that environment, I think is ultimately the most important thing. Yeah. That and having like lots of consent related t-shirts. That's been my, that's the strategy in life. So do you know, speaking of like, you know, the future and obviously, you know, with what you and your husband have created with your brand, do you see a time where Cory Chase is going to retire from in front of the camera, or are you going to be the greatest gilf that ever existed? What does the future look like?
That is the weirdest thing. So for the longest time, I wasn't old enough to be a MILF. And then I became a MILF, finally was old enough. And now they're saying that I'm a gilf.
I'm also probably a gilf.
Over 40, I guess, is a gilf. But then when I was in my 30s, I wasn't old enough to be a MILF, so it was a quick jump.
Yeah, there's like 2 months of MILFhood before.
I'd like to say I would still be in front of the camera for the next 10 years. After that retirement, I'm hoping I will live off of the residuals of what I've made over the last now 20-ish years. Maybe even just being behind the camera.
Yeah. Do you enjoy the behind the camera? I mean, I know that you all also are often in front of the camera, but what's your favorite part about being behind the camera?
Directing and like now I'm learning that the pleasure of like finding, like making people and telling people like this vision that I have and letting them create it is definitely a plus for me. Like I'm learning to like that a lot more, just as much of me dressing up as a different character or different role and playing it. So
that's always when you can have an idea in your head and then bring it to life.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's like the ultimate creation.
It is. It's amazing. Like that's my kink right there. Like being able to just translate something from up here to like living and breathing in front of you and seeing other people take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So who or what are you running away from?
It was a bad situation. We don't want to talk about it.
I don't like this situation, and I don't like her. This was supposed to be our special night.
I'm out of here. You can deal with them yourself.
Wait, where are you going? You brought them here. Don't leave me here with those freaks.
Pretty sure he's gone.
Yeah, but for how long?
Long enough.
I don't like it. Something's not right here.
Do you remember what almost happened last time?
I don't want to stay here any longer than you have to.
Well, then let's find out where they keep their money and get out of here.
All right, we have some rapid fire questions. Okay. So these are how we like to conclude our interviews.
Okay.
And I will say that I did not write them.
Okay.
But I will.
No.
Okay, so if you could pick one celebrity to be a Cory Chase fan, and it doesn't have to be someone who actually is already, but one celebrity to be a Cory Chase fan, who would it be?
Maitland Ward. Maitland Ward for a celebrity. So I get this question, like, who would you have sex with? I don't necessarily want to have sex with a celebrity. I want to have sex with a character that a celebrity would play.
Nice.
Like,
okay.
Deadpool is like my number one.
All right. So Wicked Pictures. If you hear this, Seth Gamble, if you want to return as Deadpool, that is Cory Chase's ultimate celebrity.
I've already had sex with Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I was actually the female version of Deadpool too. So I made it happen for myself.
There you go. That even better answer. What are your top 3 tips for pleasuring a woman?
Communication.
Excellent.
Because everyone's different.
Everyone is different. Yes. And actually that is true. You don't want to assume everybody is the same.
Yeah.
Would you rather get stuck behind the couch or in the washing machine?
Oh, so is the couch like pushed up against the wall?
Let's say that this is a normal living room setup. So the couch is just
like in the center of the room.
Yeah.
I would rather be stuck in the couch than in a washing machine.
Why did you ask the question about whether it was against the wall?
Because there's this whole... So the vor thing, the whole Pee Wee Herman where he gets swallowed by the couch, there's this whole vor fetish and being consumed.
Yes.
And it's difficult. Like your face is being smashed up against the wall because I'm assuming your hands are like stuck back behind the couch. I don't know.
Yeah, I like how you're instantly thinking of production.
Yeah. There's all these different things going on in my head.
I bet you our social guy did not think you were going to go to vor when we mentioned that couch question, but I'm glad
I've been swallowed by couches, mattresses, and closets. So
yeah. Bush or no bush?
I am both. Currently sporting a bush. I don't care. I hope my fans don't.
And they would probably let you know if they did. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Okay, this is a good one. Would you rather never have sex again?
I know.
She's already saying no. Or never eat your favorite food again?
So, again, universe-wise, am I still having to make sex on porn and having sex or make money having sex? Because
this is during your living off the residuals retirement.
Okay.
We'll frame it that way.
So if I'm already retired, then it's definitely having sex. I would give up sex than not like eating my favorite food.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, Jesus. That also changes on a regular basis. Currently right now it's like steak. I'm like in this red meat phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Medium rare? Rare? Medium? Rare. Nice.
Bloody.
All right. This is my last question, and I am expecting an interesting answer.
Okay.
Where is the strangest place you've ever masturbated?
Masturbated? Ooh. I don't masturbate much. Of all things, I don't really masturbate. The weirdest place that I had sex was in the electrical room on the pipes to, I guess, like water lines to this barracks.
And
it was dusty. It was dusty. It was dark. I think it was like pitch black in there.
Wow.
We couldn't turn on the light, or we didn't want to turn on the light. Yeah. That was probably
pitch black. On some pipes.
Yep. Just
getting the pipe on some pipes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna throw one more bonus at you. Okay. So have you ever faked an orgasm?
Obviously. I've done a lot of forced orgasm content, and after a while it just like stops. It goes numb. So yeah, you do have to fake it.
There you go.
I do always come on set. I don't allow myself to like be in denial of not coming.
I just got finished talking to one of the legends in our industry, all right? I am so happy I got to meet Cory Chase this way. She's been an OG content creator since like before the internet began. And as someone who kind of came up during, the days of the internet adult scene, she really is someone I have tremendous respect for. If you can take anything away from this convo, one, I want you to check out Taboo Heat because it's an amazing creation. And two, whenever you're gonna think about a couch in the future, I want you to also think about getting swallowed by it, all right? If you enjoyed this conversation, if you want to check out more about what Cory's up to, please go ahead and follow all her links. You can follow ours too. Leave a comment, like this podcast, show your support in any way. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.